In this video, we're going to take a closer look at how this colour pencil octopus was completed. I'll walk you through the process and share how to build up all those intricate little details without feeling overwhelmed, breaking down the piece into smaller, manageable steps. For this piece, I'm using Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, and the paper is Strathmore Bristol Vellum Hot Press watercolour paper. But first, hi, if you're new here, I'm Lisa, I'm a colour pencil artist and I create real-time tutorials over on Patreon. This octopus, along with over 70 other tutorials, is available both on my website and on Patreon. You can check those out in the description below. So let's jump in and see how this octopus came together. So when you're working on a piece like this, it can be quite confusing with all of the different shapes, colours, textures that are going on. The main thing you want to do is just break it down into smaller pieces and work on little bits at a time. If you're going through and wanting to do a really big section at once, it can get quite overwhelming. It takes a really long time and you can get frustrated. So the best way that I find to do this sort of thing is just to break it down into really small sections and completing them gradually. So that being said, we're going to start with the eye, making sure to go in with a really sharp black pencil just to outline where you can see the highlight section, so we're not going into those. So in this one, we really want to hype up the colours because we want it to be nice and bright and colourful, especially in the eye, because that's sort of the first point of focus that people are going to look at when they're looking at this piece. And then gradually just building up the black around it, but you will have to go back in and resaturate those colors. I started by going in with some of the orange and just mapping out where you can see those little highlight sections, starting to add in some of the coral, and then going in with some of the violet. There is a lot of purple in this piece, and you always want to make sure that you're going in with really light layers so you can just gradually build them up and get them deeper where you need to. When we go over with the black and start to add in some of the shadows, we can then go back over with the bright colors and resaturate where we need to. Then when you're building on from the eye, look at a section that you feel like might be easy. So I picked this sort of orangey, yellowy section, put that in, and then we can build up to the eye and start to fill in all of those little bits. Like I said, just break it down into smaller sections to make it easy for yourself and then link them all up together. Then I started to go into this sort of spotty texture with the black pencil, adding in some little semicircles where you can see those lighter sections, and then you can go over with the base layers. Putting in these little semicircles to start with just allows you to make sure that you're remembering where all of these light bits are, and you're using the negative space method by just going around these rather than doing dots over the black, which is quite hard with colour pencil. So back to the reference photo, this texture here is what's going to be tricky. This was the part that I was dreading for this whole thing. So I started by going in with some of the light ultramarine and adding just some of those little oval shapes. Also went in with some of the orange and put in some of those as well. And then you can go down and do a base layer of the cold grey one. This will make it nice and smooth, and we can go over with some of the beige red as well, just to add that sort of pinky reddy tone. And then with the dark indigo, I just went down the sort of bottom right hand section of each of these little circles and put a darker section so that it looks like the light is coming from the top left of the piece. And then this is when you can start to go in and glaze down the purple colors in between, get darker with the black where you need to, and just start to jigsaw it all together. So again, for this black section, we're using the negative space method. And if I didn't explain before, so all this means is that you're putting in the darker sections and leaving the lighter sections bright. So when it comes to color pencil, it's really hard to get light colors over dark colors. So using this method allows us to keep those light colors really bright. So what I'm doing is just going through and putting in some circles and shading where it's the darkest areas around all of those light sections, and then we can go through, start to shade in some of the base colors, adding some of the cold grey one, adding the blues and purples where we need to, and then continuing to get darker with the black. So just building up the textures really lightly so that you can see where you need to get darker and add in more colors where it needs to be brighter and more vibrant. Remember as well for this one, the light is coming from the top left of the piece. So when we're adding in the shadows and the lighter sections, we want to make sure that on the top left section, it's nice and light. And on each of the individual circles and details on the octopus, the bottom right is darker. So that's why it's best to complete it one little section at a time so that you can do each sort of individual little indent on the octopus. So in this little section here, it's very colourful. So I started by going in, putting in some of the blue, orange and yellow where we can see all of those little colourful bits. Start to add in some of the base layers and blending over it, make it nice and smooth. And then you can go in with the black pencil and start to add in all the little details. So again, you're wanting to make sure that at the bottom right of each of these individual circles, it's a little bit darker, a little bit heavier. At the top, it's a little bit lighter. And by this point, I'm just going in and putting a whole heap of little circles. I know that it looks a little bit messy at this point, but you just got to keep going and keep blending until it looks good. But remember, not all of these little sections, little colors need to be in exactly the right spot. No one's going to know if it's in a different spot or a different color in different sections. Just having the lighter and darker sections look correct is what's going to make it look realistic in the end. Then when your piece is going to be hard up against the border, I always tape it off so you get a really nice crisp edge at the end. I always use washi tape because this has minimal sort of sticking to the paper, doesn't rip it as you take it off. And then as we continue on through the piece, we're just using the same process, mapping in some of the darker sections with our black or dark sepia, putting in some of those colourful dots where we can see the orange, yellows, purples and blues, and starting to fill in the base layers and then gradually getting darker. For this sort of thing, remember we need to make sure that we're getting the lighter and darker sections in the right spots because that's what's going to make it look realistic. And so I did go and Google what these are called, and yes, they are called suckers. For all of these individual suckers, the way that we're putting them in is, you guessed it, just completing one at a time. So just using a couple of pencils to put one in at a time, moving on to the next one, the next one, the next one. It is very time consuming, but you just got to put in some headphones, listen to something. It makes it so much more therapeutic for you, and it is just fun to map in all of these colors. Again, make sure to put all of the darker sections in the right spots and leaving the lighter sections nice and bright, because this is what's going to make it look realistic. Throughout the piece, you will get a little bit faster because you're completing the same thing sort of over and over again, but it is very time consuming. Putting in all of these little details, it really makes all the difference in the end. And sometimes I also think we need to remember the reason that we create art, to be expressive. For me, it's very therapeutic and it's how I release a lot of stress and how I calm myself. So being able to get in the zone, really focus on small details, little areas, is what I really love doing with color pencils. Seeing it all come together and completing a piece is wonderful, but it's not the end product that we do it for. It's the process and really just enjoying that time creating. So now that all of the octopus is in, we can just start to evaluate where we can see the darker sections, where it needs to be lighter, paying attention to the shadows and starting to make some changes where we need to. I always say to my Patreons though that we don't have to add in the background if you don't want to. If you're just wanting to learn the texture of the animal or just interested in putting the animal, you can always just shade in a shadow at the bottom and call it a day. You don't have to put in the background and spend all that time doing it if it's not something that you're interested in doing. If you are interested in the background, we're going to get started. So just like the octopus, we're breaking it down into smaller sections and just working on little bits at a time. So when it comes to a background, it's generally blurry or in lesser focus than the animal that you're doing. So you want to make sure that you're using really soft pencil strokes, circular motions, and blurring things out as you go. Try not to use really sharp pencils and putting in really stiff lines or really sharp edges, because you do want it to be a little bit blurry so that your focus isn't taken to the background as soon as you look at it. So when you look at the piece, you want to look straight at the octopus. The background is just an afterthought, but that doesn't mean it takes any less time, unfortunately. So the way I'm completing the darkest sections of the background is just to lightly map in where you can see the black areas, then starting to put in some of the colors and base layers in the lighter sections, and then you're just gradually making the darker sections bigger and starting to blend down more of the colors. As you go through, it's really hard to judge how dark you need to get in certain areas, so this is why we use really light layers and just really gradually build everything up. And the lighter that you go in, the more depth of color you can get and the more sort of different shades of colors you can get, which prevents it from looking flat, making it look more realistic. But I know that these videos go a little bit too fast for some people, so if you do want to do this in real time, remember it is a full real-time tutorial on my Patreon. You get given the reference photo, the line art, the material list. You can get it with the monthly subscription, otherwise it's available with individual purchase. And then depending on which paper you're using, some don't blend as well with black pencil depending on how you're layering it. So I went in with some of my Colour Pencil Zest It liquid blender, just with a brush, making sure to dry it off on a bit of paper towel because you don't want it very wet, just very, very damp so that you're saturating the colour. This just helps to blend all of the tooth of the paper so that you can't see those little white sections coming through, especially in the darker black sections. So I'm only really going over this for the background where it's the darkest black areas, just to really saturate that colour, get it nice and dark. But I really hope that you like this one, guys. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.